all this stuff is getting processed in the content factory in the same way we're setting up the content factory here. So we're here at 4EverYoung's corporate headquarters. They have 100 locations. It's 4EverYoung Anti-Aging, and we've worked on building their digital plumbing, helping their internal team be able to grow all the different franchise locations that they serve. So we spent the whole day with the management team, their founder, and we also filmed a whole bunch of videos. And we have all that are captured on Zoom, and we're following the same process that we do for anybody, whether they have one location or they have 100 locations. Now, when you have 100 locations in your franchise and their goal is 2035, they want to have 400
2035, 400
profitable locations, you want to scale the thing that's working. So because this and say 10 plus other corporate locations that are here in the Florida area are working, we're capturing the essence of what that is. And I think we see Carlton back there, who is their founder. I mean, he looks the part.
He does.
Seth looks the part. But we've interviewed the lady who runs the operations, interviewed a nurse practitioner who does the IVs and oversees nurse medical things, an esthetician we interviewed, and we've captured this all around because those videos that we've made turn into SOPs that all the other franchisees, where they have their wellness coordinator, they have their front office person, they have nurse practitioners, they have other people in different roles that do, peptides or do the body scale composition thing.
It was a body scan that I did, yeah, and I could see, skeletal muscle and
Yeah.
fat and all that and all the stuff I needed to lose. It's really
and your numbers
interesting.
look good too. I'm like,
Yeah,
I'd like to
pretty
have
good.
those numbers, right? But the beauty is we're capturing all those on my iPhone using this Rode Mic 2. All of this goes to the cloud. It's automatically saved to Google Photos, to Amazon Photos, to iCloud. I have the iCloud, what is it called? The Apple One plan, where you get an extra 2 terabytes. So I have actually 4 terabytes in my personal account, even though 2 is supposed to be the limit. Most people think 2 is the limit. So we're recording all of this in high quality 4K ProRes, which are big files. So maybe Seth could talk about what he's learned, because I'm guessing you haven't done a lot of like on-site stuff like what you saw here today,
So
including the filming.
Yeah, I mean, essentially.
Let's come inside and then Seth will talk about that.
So I mean, essentially, we're just implementing the first step of the content factory, right? And that's getting the initial content. So what we've been doing here today, it's a lot of 1-minute videos, you might say, but really it could be 15 minutes, and you're going through and you're creating those 1-minute videos from that. So a lot of what I've done, I've just been talking to staff members, and we've been running through some of the treatments they offer, what they like about working here, everything like that. We did a little run through, saw the office, talked about each treatment room, and it was really fun. I think we all had a good time, and we got a lot of good content out of it.
So were you nervous going to a corporate headquarters, knowing that going to a corporate headquarters, meeting these other people, maybe it was a surprise because you didn't know you'd be interviewing all these people and doing all the filming. But you did great.
Yeah, no, it was a surprise.
Nervous?
It was a surprise. I wouldn't say I was nervous. I just wanted to do a good job, I would say. So maybe a little anxious.
Yeah.
But it was easy on me because the people I was talking to knew exactly what they were doing and they knew all the right things to say. So they made it very easy on me.
Yeah. Well, how do you come off so well on camera?
I would say it comes from, so my original background is as a fashion model. So I've been doing modeling since I was about 16. I'm 25 now. And so I'm always on different sets and getting direction and meeting all kinds of new people, and you kind of just have to go with things on the fly because you don't walk into it with a script or anything like that. So it's like acting to some extent, and I would say that experience has probably helped me more than anything.
What do you have to say for other people? They're young adults like you, and maybe they don't have that experience in front of the camera, but they have to interview other people because these local clients, the plumbers and roofers and dermatologists and whatnot, they're good at the thing that they do. But when you pull out the camera, they get nervous. Like you saw that one girl, she had to get ready because of all that.
It's understandable.
But young adults like you, give them some advice. They're about to walk into the location of a client and they need to collect the 1-minute videos that are in our checklist that we know that every location needs to have. How should they be thinking about this? How can they be successful like you just were today?
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult. I think the key is just looking at it like it's a real conversation. Try to pretend the camera's not even there, but it's a learned skill. I absolutely think at the start, you could suck at it, and that's okay. You're gonna learn along the way, and that's why we get so much footage, so we can go through and chop what we need, get the good things, get rid of the bad, and sometimes the bad stuff might actually turn out all right.
Yeah.
And you will get so much better. I've already, I feel like, improved a bit, and I've only been really at this a couple days, so.
It doesn't look like it. Looks like you're a pro. The funny thing is, like, I'm off camera and I'm coaching these guys on where I want the thing to go, kind of like a director. You can come, that's fine. And the funny thing is, like, I'm thinking ahead on what the topics are that we need to cover, because I have the checklist in my head of all the things we need for this location, so all the other locations can copy that. And then the people who are actually the experts, who are actually nurses, who are actually estheticians, they're struggling to say the words, and I'm giving them the exact words to use, and they're saying, why don't you just say that? Oh, you say that so well. But it's because I've done this enough times. Yeah. It's not like you have to be beautiful. It's just like Seth said, you just need to have the practice, and even if it comes off a little rough at first, you're gonna be a harder judge on yourself than people who are watching.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, Dennis has all the right words, but for someone that can't, perfectly memorize, he's giving you the perfect line almost every single time. Not everyone can just memorize that, so I mean, just kind of take the information in and put your own spin on it, say it in your own words. He doesn't want you to verbatim say exactly what he just said. You just want to take the good from it and put your own spin on it.
That's right, so no need to try to memorize the words, because that's gonna come out the wrong way. When you say it in your own words, that's how it works. So now, all you have to do is understand the goals, content, and targeting. So what is this video about? Who's it for? What are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to show people? Like, oh, we're gonna show people the body scanner, and it shows your body composition, your fat, your bone, your muscle, your height, your like all this kind of stuff. And we wanna show other people, hey, you know what, if you come into this room and we measure how your body is every week, here's, there's now they can actually see what it's like, because when they see Seth, step on the thing and it's measuring everything, they can see like, you know what, I'm not scared of that, because now I actually understand how that is. So in that example, we were just walking people through what it's like to sit down in a consultation, what it's like to be in a treatment room where you're getting like Botox and other kinds of fillers and whatnot. And that's what removes this kind of uncertainty or fear about being in a medical place, because you can see it's actually being done. Like maybe you're scared of needles, and you say, actually, this is the place where they do the IVs. It's super comfortable and chill. And so when we're educating and we're showing things as they are on camera, that's actually, it's not how good your sales message is. It's just showing like, hey, this is comfortable. These people are cool to hang out with. There's other people like me that are getting treatment, or they're getting their roof fixed or whatnot. And I think I could see myself working with these guys. And that's all we're really trying to get across in these kinds of videos.
Yeah, because I mean, one side of it is people not knowing the benefits. But in this scenario, I mean, I feel like a lot of people know the benefits. They know there's good stuff going on here, but they might be a little scared of the process. Yeah. I mean, that's for anything. So trying to make it a more comfortable environment, make it more welcoming for people to come in and understand the process, I think is really helpful for people.
So Seth was interviewing one of the nurses, and she was going on and on about all the different peptides. I happen to know there's over 400 peptides that do, there's short chain amino acids that do all these different things like hair loss and bone density and muscle and skin glowing, all that stuff. But I don't know all that. So Seth, even though he doesn't know about all the different peptides and what they do, the fact that he can ask a question as an outsider, as like someone who's watching, is actually, it's almost better to be ignorant in a way.
Yeah, no, I think that was definitely a key part of today is I didn't know much about this. And I think that was important to it because I had experts here and I just had to kind of pull the information out of them, and they were happy to talk about it. And I mean, let them talk. They're the experts. You're videoing them for a reason.
As long as we know where we're trying to go. So most people will take what I just said about, oh, they're the expert, you don't need to know very much. They'll take that as, you can come in totally unprepared. That's not what we're saying. That's not the case at all. You still want to learn about the business. You need to understand their core customer, right? Their goals, content, and targeting, what makes them different. There's a lot of other places that do IV or HRT, right? Hormone replacement therapy, a lot of places that treat weight loss, right? But you got to understand the essence of how they differentiate their brand. And if you know that, you know their founder, you know their history, if you do that prep work and then you come in, then you let the expert talk about the expert thing. So if I try to talk about, here's different nuances of testosterone therapy, that would never come across because I'm not expected to be an expert. But I should know enough about the business that I can ask intelligent questions and then make the expert shine. So young adults like Seth that are interviewing other people, they're actually experts at helping the expert become expert and come across as being expert.
That's a good way of putting it.
Yeah, so the pressure's not on you. So let's take a look at where we had our meetings earlier today,
Yeah, I
and you
think
can
so.
see in the B-roll and the other shots there, how, where we were and how we pointed to these different things. We talked about memberships, talked about other aspects, starting the door, walking through, so you feel like you're on a tour, right? Ivy Lounge.
This is the staff here. Are we good to go back here, or should we go
Yeah,
through the
let's
hallway?
go. Let's go back where I think this connects. I think that'll be okay. Hey, look, it's Carlton Washington, the founder. We just saw him in the hallway. I've met him at conferences all over. There he is in there. And we had a Zoom meeting that we recorded the whole time. And I put my iPhone on this tripod so it could be here and face this way. So the other people that we had on Zoom could see the other folks here. And then I came over here and I drew on the whiteboard. So then I tilted the phone to film this way so you could see the diagram that kind of outlines how we want to do their data infrastructure, hire VAs. This all ties to Content Factory and whatnot. And the neat thing is, we're just sitting here comfortably. Like when you walk in, by the way, if you want to be a pro, when you walk in and you're running this thing, because you're the agency, you want to sit at the chair that's closest to the TV, because they may or may not have an HDMI cord or an Apple TV thing, and then you've got, the pro thing is come plug the thing in, be ready, get to the location 10 or 15 minutes early so you can get the Wi-Fi, you can get some water, go to the bathroom. You don't want to be late, not even 1 minute late. You want to be there early, prepared, and it just looks great. When you walk in, plug this thing in, open your laptop, you're already connected to the Wi-Fi, and you start going through the analysis that you've already put together. So Daniel walked us through a great analysis of the plumbing. I opened up our master Content Factory document showing how this Content Factory framework applied exactly to what this client needed, and it fit perfectly. The CEO walked in after a few minutes, and because he didn't know some of the things we were talking about, I said, okay, go ahead and recap for Dan what it was. So it's showing respect to him, but it's also making sure he's on the same page as all the other people that work on the team, because Dan's not involved in every single thing, but it's important because he's ultimately the one that's paying for us to do all these different things.
Yeah.
So we're managing those meeting dynamics at the same time while making sure, Parker and Seth and whatever, like everything's good, we have food. So it kind of takes a lot. You typically want to have a full night's sleep the night before this kind of thing, but it doesn't always happen.
Ideally, no drilling at your hotel. That always helps.
We're at the Embassy Suites, there's drilling. Maybe you can see the video that I made on that and put that as B-roll so you could see. Anyway, I just wanted you guys to see behind the scenes. This is what a day in the life is like. It's maybe not the most glamorous thing. You only see the glamorous things on social media, but I wanted you to see for real, Seth, Parker, me, how we're actually doing it. Because if you're a young adult, or if you're a not so young adult and you're trying to help companies with their digital marketing, you might be good as an individual doing your social media thing, but do you know the dynamics of working in a team and bringing in other people onto the Zoom and making sure they have their components prepared to be able to present that and how it fits in an overall plan. And then the last thing, if you're watching this, or if we pull this piece out separately, they basically asked a couple times, what's it going to cost? And without even blinking, I said 10 grand a month for this, because it's about a mid-sized retainer for what they want. And I know about what the cost would be for our labor, and then, of course, anyone involved, you're going to get paid, you're going to get paid, Daniel's got to get paid. We have to have a little bit for systems and infrastructure and travel and stuff like that. So I'm thinking, usually about whatever that labor cost is, the hard cost, you can double it. And that gives us enough room, because then we have to, there's extra stuff you don't anticipate, like hiring VAs or other delays or other stuff we have to buy or, things like that. So it was easy. So, 3 months, they operate on EOS. The Entrepreneur Operating System, is a whole book on that called Traction. A lot of businesses are on that. And because they operate 90-day cycles quarterly, we tuned our stuff to the way they operate. So I said, 10 grand a month for 90 days. And we had this discussion about expectations on what do you think we could do within 90 days. So I gave them an answer, but I gave it with a caveat every time, right? So we don't get pinned down. So that's 30K for the next 90 days. And if we do well, which I think we will, because we've got a good team here, as long as people don't flake out, but they do the thing we need, then maybe we'll do another 30K for another 90 days. And do that for a year, that's 120K. Not too bad, right?
Not too bad.
Operate a few of these, now you're starting to talk good money. Mm-hmm. Then you start to say, okay, that's great. We built your in-house team. We've hired VAs for you. Now we want to do some other stuff that doesn't require, maybe it leverages technology that we built. Maybe we highlight the personal brands
of each of the franchisees, which ties into the local SEO. And then we start selling SaaS kinds of things. So we could still charge 10 grand a month, where we switched more to technology things, but now we don't have to put in as much effort. Now we're getting, the 10 grand every month, but we're putting in less and less effort because we're relying more upon automation, which isn't cheating because they're getting a higher ROI, right? And as we build stuff on top of Zenoti, which is their EHR, electronic health records, right? Like medical places have to use the thing to keep patient data and appointments, then anyone else who uses Zenoti or uses RingCentral, which is what they do they don't use CallRail. Big companies use RingCentral instead of CallRail. Anyone who uses those same systems, all that reporting and the stuff that we've already built, we can basically relicense that to someone else. It's like a software company, right? And so we start to build more experience. And we've already got experience on Zenoti. So we are, which wasn't like the reason why these guys want to work with us, but it's a big plus when they see that we have done this kind of work before. So all of it just multiplies when you have lighthouses and other people see that we're with Carlton, Washington. And I'd love to hear, like, Seth, what else did you observe? What else do you think?
It was just, it was a full day of a learning experience. It was really cool. At the start, it was definitely a little technical, and that was definitely where Dennis shined the most. But then we got into the content side of things. It was really refreshing because I just really felt like I could dive in and be of service. So it's just getting into it. I didn't know I'd be doing this today at all. We went right into it, and sometimes you just got to jump in with both feet. Yeah. Just start and see what you can do.
Wasn't it kind of refreshing knowing that you could walk into the situation and you knew that not only would it be okay, but you would do a good job and it'd be fun?
Yeah, you just gotta have to believe in yourself, I guess, and just give it a shot. And maybe it won't go great, but you'll learn from it and you'll do better next time.
Amen. Awesome. So we're about to do our office hours in a few minutes. So hope you guys like that. Of course, we're going to repurpose this video into an article and lots of other pieces and more training. We have a whole agency management course which is 37 modules. So this is just another component. We've already taught every component here many times, but it's just nice to see, everything that we teach, more and more repeat proof against every one of these.